Good morning. So this morning, I just took Smokey out for a walk, and we just got back right now. But when I was taking him for a walk on the other side of the complex, there's this older gentleman that likes to do a lot of gardening things. I think he must be like that's his job or something, because I'll see him a lot of times with a bunch of plants in his in the back of his truck and fertilizer and stuff. And then he's always driving off to do things. Like, you don't really know your neighbors, but you kind of do. Anyways, so we're kind of like approaching him, and Smokey's really good because he's just sniffing. He doesn't really care about people necessarily. But the guy drove off, and when I glanced over to where he was, he left his bag. And so Smokey and I did the Good Samaritan thing this morning, and we took it on over to the office, which it was really heavy. Like, I was really surprised with how heavy that bag was. I didn't look in it, but I kind of peeked in it just to make sure, like, I don't know, there wasn't anything terribly bad in it. If that even makes sense. Or spillable things, I guess, is really what I was thinking of before I picked it up, right? And it just looked like a bunch of paperwork and clothes, like maybe he was going on a trip or something. So I thought, well, I better take it to the office, because I know, like, my daughter once put her bag down by the car, and we were putting the baby in, and we drove off, and we didn't even pick it back up. And so by the time we realized it, which was only a few minutes away, and came back, somebody already grabbed it. And so that was really unfortunate, because it was clearly a diaper bag. Unfortunately, it had her Apple Watch in there and some headphones, so she ended up losing that. And we looked around and we tried to figure out, who could possibly have taken it. And then weeks later, we saw the person who we assumed took it, because she had the backpack. And at that point, it was pretty cringy. And then when we approached the office and kind of talked to the office about it, they were like, that lady is schizophrenic. And she lives here with a caretaker. Most of the time, the caretaker's here. So we decided to not pursue anything, because she wouldn't even be able to let us know if she had the watch. So I don't know. She probably threw it away, because she actually likes to collect rocks. So although Ben was like, if you take one of my rocks, you could tell her, like, if you have a watch, I'll trade you for a rock. And I thought, that's so funny and very kind. But we went ahead and just, let it be what it is. But I do know, like, two nights ago, I want to say 2 nights ago, Katie's car got broken into, and they took her backpack, which had her headphones in it, and her gym clothes. Like, she's been going to the gym almost every day, and so she was really upset about that. And I understand that. And thank God, I had actually bought them diapers, which were in my Kia, in my back seat for like a week. And I don't really lock my car a lot. There's really nothing to steal, I don't think. Like, I have gum, maybe Charlie's car seat or in the stroller in the back or something. But I'm so glad that Katie grabbed the diapers that same night the incident happened with her car. And she actually ended up locking my car, which is great, because, that at least leaves somebody out of my car. But however, the interesting thing is her car was locked, but the back window, you can kind of shimmy it down to get in there. And that's what they did. So sometimes people just suck. Anyways, I hauled that bag over to the office, because I know firsthand what it's like to have your things taken. And he looked like he was traveling about. So I'm hoping that he wasn't going someplace, and then, like, my bag, but I hope that he definitely recovers it, because that was heavy. So I just hope that everything works out for him, whatever it may be. But it's a beautiful day. Like, I wore my little sweatshirt out there, and in the wind, there's like a slight breeze, so it's like you feel refreshed. But then at the same time, when you're in the sun, and especially in the direct sun, it's like you warm up. So as we kept turning around to go around the complex, it was like all parts of me got rotisserie chickened and cooked to feel nice and warm after my exchange. So that's a plus. And then I went over to Hobbies because I wanted to see what they were up to, and they're still in bed, you know. But that's the life of you when you're like 24 and you work late at night and then you get home, you know, and you have a toddler who's going to just run the same schedule as you do. So the funniest thing though is sometimes I go over there to make myself something to eat because he shops for family basically, and so he has goodies, right? I don't eat over there a lot. We usually try to have family dinner at least every other week, and sometimes that ends up being pizza, or usually he likes to have something made, so I'll make dinner. But it's nice to have him that close because there's been times like I need one egg and I don't have it, and I don't want to have to go to Fry's, so I'll run down there and grab an egg. And sometimes they're still sleeping and I'll grab a couple potatoes, you know, or sometimes it's like I shop down there. And granted, they both have really good paying jobs, so they're not without, believe me. But anyways, I was watching this movie the other day with Donnie, and I was telling him how I really missed bologna sandwiches because my grandpa and I used to go fishing. We would take like a sandwich, right? And you would always put your chips on the sandwich. At least we did. And that just added the extra flavor or the extra specialness of a sandwich, right? So anyways, I told Donnie, God, I'm kind of in the mood for a sandwich, which is something we don't eat hardly ever. At QT, Donnie will eat a sandwich more than I will because they have a sub sandwich that he loves. That's a roast beef one. And at QT, you can decide what vegetables you want, or if you want extra cheese or whatever you want. It's like Subway, but cheaper. And you build it without having to deal with telling the other person, right? So when that happens, I usually get a wrap because to me, the bread's okay. It's not phenomenal. And I don't want to waste my bread time with that. So anyways, gosh, long story. I go to Hobbies and I'm telling him my Good Samaritan story. And then I'm like, I'm going to go snoop your fridge and see what you have. So I'm snooping around and I notice he buys lunch meat and he had cheeses, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I looked at his cupboard and he had bread, and it's like Sara Lee white bread, like the worst bread you could have, because when we have bread, it's homemade sourdough bread, or the closest to homemade, which makes it more expensive, from Fry's, because I think it's $6 for the loaf, which we haven't bought in a long time. For whatever reason, my child just buys whatever. And I do have to say this about him. He's a very good bargain shopper, which is something that we used to do all the time too, because when I was married, we were a family of 7. And so I would look at all the ads, figure out where to go for the cheapest food, who had the best deals, and I would go to every grocery store for those things. And the kids were just used to that. So I think it's funny how, like, even in life now for him, this is what he does. Because he'll tell me, like, Mom, don't get, you know, like a roast at Fry's. It's cheaper to get it here at Safeway or whatever it is, you know, which is super cool. It's kind of like how we bond, I guess. I made myself a sandwich. And it's so delicious. And it's so funny because it's like, I've not had this kind of sandwich in years. I want to say probably at least 2020. Yeah, because that's when I kind of just ate whatever. Once 2020 hit and my whole kidney disease hit and dialysis and all that started, everything shifted drastically. So I haven't had a sandwich like this in a very, very long time. Now, I went ahead and splurged on the cheese. Okay, so the reason this sandwich is not good for us is because the white bread is crap. There's just no way to get around that. And then deli meats, or like thinly sliced meats, aren't real great because they pack a lot of preservatives in them and sodium usually. And then I have provolone, pepper jack, and cheddar cheese on here because I'm a cheese lover. And mayonnaise. And then when I got home, I put a little mustard on it because Javi hates mustard, so his house is without. Anyways, I told this long story to tell you that sometimes it's okay to indulge. Because once I eat this, I'll probably feel a little bloated. And then I'll be satisfied for probably another 5 years. Let's hope. Because there's that danger that says, maybe I'll like it so much, I'll want to have it again tomorrow, right? I mean, we all do that. But when you're on dialysis, it's important to not do that, because it's important to stay focused on what is good, what's going to be effective to your body. But every once in a while, it's just okay to cheat. So I got to make sure I take my Tums and my vitamins, and I'll probably take an extra walk today just to help process everything through. So that's the punishment I get for today, I guess, is extra walking out in the sunshine with my dog. So I'll do it. All right. Have a great day. Drink your water. Eat a sandwich once in a while. It'll not be the end of the world. Bye.